Hello, students. In my last class, I had started chapter 4, that is composition and structure of the atmosphere, and I had explained you about the different layers in Earth's atmosphere. I have already told you there are 5 layers in the Earth's atmosphere, that is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. So and I had in detail told you about the features of the different layers of atmosphere. I have already told you about all the important details about all the layers of the atmosphere. Today, in today's class, I had already started reading the chapter and explaining it to you. I had completed till mesosphere, right? I had completed stratosphere and mesosphere. Today, I will start with thermosphere. So, you already have a detailed idea about the things, or you can say the phenomenon happening in the different layers of the atmosphere. So today we will read about thermosphere. So this layer lies above the mesosphere and it extends up to the height of about 450 kilometer. So, and I had also told you that you should remember the different layers of the atmosphere in a sequence way. Okay, don't remember it in a random way, then you will be confused. When you are writing, you will be confused. So you should always remember the different layers of the earth in a that sequence way or orderly way. Like you should know, first you should know about troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and then last is exosphere. It should not, the order should not, you should not get confused with the order, or you should not jumble up the order. So you should always remember it in the orderly way. So you already know that first the nearest to the earth surface is stratosphere, then it is mesosphere, that is above stratosphere is mesosphere, and now thermosphere, you know that above mesosphere is thermosphere, and it extends up to the height of 450 kilometer. Here temperature increases rapidly with increasing height. So when we are going up in height, the temperature is also increasing rapidly. The boundary between the thermosphere and the mesosphere is called mesopause. So there is a boundary between the thermosphere and mesosphere. Okay, as thermosphere is lying above the mesosphere, there is a boundary which you can say separates the thermosphere and the mesosphere, and that boundary is called mesopause. This layer contains electrically charged particles called ions. So in this layer you will find the electrically charged particles, ions. These particles reflect radio waves back to the earth's surface and enable us to have wireless communication. So now you have to keep this information in your mind, that the wireless communication that is possible on the earth, we are staying on the earth, and the wireless communication which is possible is because of this layer. Okay, because of this layer, what happens, the particles, that the radio waves, the particles present in thermosphere reflect the radio waves back to the earth's surface. So they are reflecting the radio waves back to the earth's surface, and which is helping in the setup of the wireless communication. The thermosphere is also called ionosphere because of the presence of ions. So we already have learned that ions are present in this layer, and ions are electrically charged particles. Ions are electrically charged particles, and it is present in thermosphere. That's why thermosphere, another name for thermosphere is also ionosphere. Okay, why ionosphere? Because of the presence of the ions in this layer. And this and you should also remember that the wireless communication is all possible because of the reflection of the radio waves in this layer. Because of the property of the reflection of the radio waves back to the earth's surface, the wireless communication is possible, and this is possible because of this layer, and this is called ionosphere because of the presence of ions in this layer. So these are the important information you should keep in your mind regarding thermosphere. Next one is exosphere. The uppermost layer of the atmosphere is called exosphere. So you know that is the last layer of the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, this is the last layer of the Earth's atmosphere, that is exosphere, and it extends to a height of about 1600 kilometer and gradually merges with interplanetary space. Okay, so exosphere is the last layer, and what happened, it merges with the outer space. After this layer, what happens, that it merges with the outer space. So about 1600 kilometer, and it merges with the interplanetary space, that is the outer space. This layer is extremely rare feed. Okay, this layer is extremely rare feed. Very light gases like hydrogen and helium are found in this layer. So very light gases are found in this layer, that is the density is very less. As we go up, we know the density of the air decreases, and here only we find the light gases like hydrogen and helium. Okay, now, so we now know a lot of information about the different layers of the earth, and now we will know about the significance of atmosphere. Now, what is the importance of atmosphere? The components of the atmosphere are useful to us in various ways. Now you know that the atmosphere is made up of lot of gases, that is, you know, the lot of gases, that is nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, ozone, argon and helium. Okay, so it is made up of lot of gases. Now, what is the importance of these gases? What is the importance of these gases to us? So we will learn about the significance of the atmosphere, or what is the importance of the presence of these gases in the atmosphere. First is nitrogen, and this I have already discussed with you in my previous classes also, but again I am discussing it with you. Nitrogen is required to maintain the fertility of the soil and is vital for the plants. So what is the importance of nitrogen? Nitrogen is important to maintain the fertility of the soil. So without nitrogen is helping in maintaining the fertility of the soil, and when the fertility of the soil is maintained, then what happens, it is helpful for the farmers to grow crops. Okay, it is important for the plants, as the plants are deriving their source of food, or you may say their own survival from the soil. Okay, and so nitrogen is helping to maintain the what you say, nourishment of the plants. So it maintains the fertility of the soil, and it is very useful for the plants. Next one is atmosphere contains oxygen, which are all living things need in order to stay alive. You all know that oxygen is the most important gas. Without that, human beings, or you may no one will survive. The living organisms will not survive without oxygen. So this is also one, the atmosphere of the earth is suitable for sustaining life because of the presence of the oxygen, because the atmosphere present in other planet is not suitable for still the research is going on, but still it is not suitable for the survival of the living organisms. But because of the presence of oxygen in our atmosphere, we are surviving on this planet. Next one is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide helps plants to produce food in the presence of sunlight. It also keeps the earth warm by absorbing the heat radiated from the surface. So carbon dioxide, we are inhaling oxygen, and we are exhaling carbon dioxide. So it is useless for us, right? We are exhaling the carbon dioxide. But you know it very well that the plants take in carbon dioxide to produce food. Okay, they take in carbon dioxide to produce food by the process of photosynthesis. You remember in science you have already read. So they are taking in the carbon dioxide, and then they are performing the process of photosynthesis to produce food for their survival. So, and then they are exhaling oxygen, which we are taking. So carbon dioxide is important for the plants, and it also keeps the earth warm by absorbing the heat radiated from the sun. So one more work of carbon dioxide is it is keeping the earth warm by absorbing the heat radiated from the earth's surface. Okay, next one is ozone. Ozone protects us from the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. Last class we had a detailed discussion about the ozone, right? Ozone layer. We had a detailed discussion and we discussed about what are the causes of the depletion of the ozone layer and a lot of other you can say a lot of other significant things related with the ozone layer. So you already have a better idea that ozone protect us from the harmful UV rays, that is ultraviolet rays of the sun. Because if the UV rays directly reach us, we have already discussed, it is very harmful for not only human beings, it is harmful for the plants as well as the animals and even the marine beings that is inside the water, that is harmful for them also. Okay, the next one is water vapor in the atmosphere cause precipitation. So water vapor in the atmosphere, that is present in the atmosphere, is causing precipitation. That is, what is precipitation? Precipitation is any form of moisture that falls on earth as rain, snow or hailstone, whatever. So this is precipitation. That is any form of moisture that is falling on the earth in the form of rain, snow or hailstone. So precipitation occurs when water vapor cools. Okay, precipitation is occurring when water vapor cools. So water vapor in the atmosphere causes precipitation. Because of this process, the rain, we are receiving rain, snow and the hailstones, whatever is occurring. Okay, next one is the dust particles form the nucleus for condensation, which result in the formation of clouds that cause rainfall and snowfall. Rainfall is very important. All of you know that rainfall is very important for us. That is one source of water for us. So it is also important that we receive rainfall when we should receive continuously. We should in a regular basis should receive rainfall, because it is a boon for the farmers as well as all the human beings, because or animals or plants, because without water we can't survive. So the dust particles, the work of the dust particles, what is the work of the dust particles? It is resulting in the formation of the clouds. So the dust particles are helping in the formation of the clouds, and the clouds, you all know, causes rainfall and snowfall. So these are the significance of the components of the atmosphere, and they are useful to us in a variety of ways. So no component of the atmosphere is, you can say, insignificant. So all of them, all whatever gases or even the dust particles or the water vapor, whatever is present in the atmosphere is very useful for us, and they are working or helping us in one way or the other. So you should remember the different work and the significance of the different components of the atmosphere. Now we'll move to the next topic, that is greenhouse effect. So first we will know what is greenhouse, and then we will come to know what is greenhouse effect. So what is actually a greenhouse? So a greenhouse is a large room made out of glass which is used for growing plants. The glass walls allow sunlight to enter during the daytime but prevent the heat to escape at night. The heat thus gets trapped within the greenhouse and makes it warm. It is useful for growing plants in cold places. So what is the process of greenhouse and how does it help? So the process of greenhouse is actually what happens, a room is made up of glass, okay, and plants are kept inside that room that is made up of glass, and plants are kept inside that room. And what is the work, like when it is daytime, what is happening, the glass walls, they are the sunlight enters, okay, during the daytime what happens, the sunlight is entering through the glass walls, and what happens during the night time, what happens, the whole day the sunlight is entering. So when the sunlight is entering, you can obviously have an idea that the room, there is heat in the room. Sunlight gives us light and heat, both. Sunlight gives us both light and heat. So when the sunlight is entering the room that is made up of glass, then what happens, the plants are getting light, that is sunlight they are getting, and the room is also becoming warm. Because of the heat of the sunlight, the room is also becoming warm, And during the night time, what happens? The glass, as it is glass, what happens? It is taking in the light and the heat, but during the night time, it is not allowing the heat to escape. As it is a glass, it has the property that it will take both light and heat, but it will prevent the heat from going out of the room and makes it warm. So it is used in actually in the cold places, okay, where there is very too much shiver cold, when the nights are bitterly cold. Okay, some places the nights are bitterly cold. So in this cold, what happens? The plants may die, okay, because they can't withstand this cold. But they are habituated with, some plants are there which they can withhold that, where you can say the cold and the heat of because they are adapted to those environments. But to prevent that, some types of plants which can't withstand those severe weather conditions, or you can say severe chill or cold weather, then what this greenhouse effect is being designed for those kind of plants, where what happens during the daytime, they are absorbing the greenhouse. Because of the greenhouse effect, the glass is absorbing the heat and the light, and during the night time, it's not allowing the heat to escape. And when the heat is not escaping, the room is warm, and although it is very chill, or you can say bitterly cold outside, but it is not affecting the inside plants, as the heat is already trapped inside that room. So this is the greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect means that is the trapping of the heat. It is the trapping of the heat, and this effect is used by, you can say, it is used by people to you can say farm or cultivate some plants in cold areas. Greenhouse effect is the effect produced by carbon dioxide and water vapor in the upper atmosphere, which raises the atmospheric pressure by trapping the heat radiated from the earth's surface. So we already know carbon dioxide. When we were reading about the work of carbon dioxide, we had already read that it helps to keep the earth warm by absorbing the heat radiated from the surface. The one work of carbon dioxide gas is to keep the earth warm by absorbing the heat radiated from the earth's surface. So it is helping, or it is aiding in the greenhouse effect. And what it is doing, the carbon dioxide and water vapor in the atmosphere, it is raising the atmospheric temperature. By how they are raising the atmospheric temperature? By trapping the heat radiated from the earth's surface. Whatever heat, as the sun rays are falling on the earth's surface, so along with the light, it is giving heat also. So sunlight is giving light as well as heat. So what is the work of carbon dioxide and water vapor? It is what it is doing, it is absorbing the heat. Okay, what it is absorbing the heat radiated from the earth's surface. It is absorbing, or you can say trapping the heat radiated from the earth's surface. Carbon dioxide is therefore called a greenhouse gas. Other greenhouse gases are methane, chlorofluorocarbons, and nitrogen oxides. So carbon dioxide is called a greenhouse gas. Why it is called a greenhouse gas? Because it is helping in the process of greenhouse effect. As it is capable of trapping the heat radiated from the earth's surface, that's why it is called a greenhouse gas. And other gases, methane, chlorofluorocarbons, that is CFC, and nitrogen oxides are also greenhouse gases, which helps in trapping the heat radiated from the earth's surface. In recent decades, the amount of greenhouse gases present in the atmosphere has increased due to the burning of fossil fuels, factory emissions, etc. So the greenhouse gases are increasing in the atmosphere. So what will happen if the greenhouse gases are increasing in the atmosphere? So what will happen? Obviously it has the quality to trap the heat radiated from the earth's surface. So what happened? The temperature will definitely increase, because if the greenhouse gases are more in amount, then what will happen? The temperature will definitely increase, because it is trapping more of the heat. Okay, and and the result of the why the greenhouse gases are increasing in amount is because of the burning of fossil fuels, factory emissions. Factories, they release lot of toxic, you can say, smoke or particles in the air, that is resulting in the increase of the greenhouse gases, and this has resulted in an increase in the average temperature on the earth. Obviously, when the amount of greenhouse gases becomes more in the atmosphere, it will definitely increase the temperature of the earth, because the work of greenhouse gases is that only, that it has the quality of trapping the heat. Okay, this phenomenon is called global warming. It causes melting of glaciers, rise in sea levels, changes in the amount of rainfall, and changes in agriculture yields. So this is the global warming, which is, now you can say, the scientists are very much worried because of the global warming phenomenon, and this is happening because of the increase of the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. And because of this, what happens, the temperature is increasing, and the average temperature is increasing on earth. And what happens when the temperature increases, definitely the glaciers will start melting, because glaciers are present at a certain temperature, that is cold. When it is very cold, the glaciers are present in their form, but when the temperature starts increasing and there is heat, obviously the glaciers will start melting. And if the glaciers start melting, then obviously the whole, you may say, the total, see, all the whatever present on the earth, whatever formations are there on the earth, if it is intact, then we are also safe. But when there are slight changes in the you may say temperature, or if there are changes in any of the physical forms that are present on the earth, then what happens, it is causing problem for not for us only, it is causing problem for the whole earth. So what happens, melting, glaciers are melting, then there is rise in sea levels. Obviously the sea water will rise in level, and there will be change in rainfall and changes in agriculture. So everything, there will be, if one change happens, then everything is correlated, everything is running in a form of cycle. So if any change takes place, it affects everything. So it, because of the global warming, lot of problems are occurring, and this is affecting, this will in future also, even the scientists have researched and they have found out that now it's affecting, and in future the devastations will be more. Okay, so we should stop this global warming. We can stop by global, because of these human activities only this global warming phenomenon has started, and it is up to us only, like how we can control the emissions of this greenhouse, the emissions of these what you say, dangerous gases which are resulting in the greenhouse effect and increasing, and it is resulting in global warming. So it depends on us only, we have only created this situation, so it depends on us only how we save our earth from this situation. So this chapter is completed, and you can see that in the recap section, whatever we have read in this chapter, there is a recap of these points in this recap section. That is, the blanket of air surrounding the earth is called atmosphere. We have read it. Air is a mixture of gases. You should always keep in mind nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, ozone, argon, and helium. And you should know the importance of these gases as well. The atmosphere is divided into 5 layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. So you have to remember these 5 layers in an orderly way, in a sequence way. Okay. Last one is examples of greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbons, and nitrogen. So you should remember the gases which are the greenhouse gases and how they are resulting in the global warming phenomenon, and how they can be reduced in amount by the human activity. You should have a clear idea about all this you may say you should have a clear idea about all this. And you should now, as we have completed the chapter already, you should have a thorough reading of the chapter. And in my next class I will start with the exercises given in the book, and we will discuss the exercises and we will complete the exercise. Children, thank you. Have a nice day.